Hello. Today we'll be talking about the anonymous cryptocurrency, Zcash.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So a man asks the dealer how much for the BMW, and the dealer says 5 bitcoins. The man exclaims, 5 bitcoins? That's a lot of money. And the dealer replies, I know, but BMW is a big company. So, what is cryptocurrency and why is it taking the digital economy by storm? Where did it come from? Simply put, it is unregulated and decentralized digital currency that uses a peer-to-peer system to validate transactions that are put on a public ledger. Cryptocurrency is created by mining the currency, which is defined by verifying transactions and adding them to the ledger. This is the only way to create cryptocurrency which has no intrinsic value on its own or a physical form. Now, there are many types of cryptocurrency that have developed from the original Bitcoin, which was developed collaterally by a group or individual titled Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, these types of cryptocurrencies are more or less the same, but with different focus offerings such as convenience, speed, and security. There's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Zcash, among others. At a high level, cryptocurrency is used as its name implies, a digital asset or currency, not unlike a dollar. As of the time of this writing, a single Bitcoin is worth 5,697 US dollars, and a single Zcash coin is worth 233 US dollars. And for the differences between Zcash and Bitcoin, well, as we all know, Bitcoin was the original cryptocurrency and has one of the largest followings in digital currency. Since then, other types of digital currencies have evolved and forked from Bitcoin, such as Zcash. So you may be wondering, why do we care about Zcash? Well, despite the fact that cryptocurrency in general is extremely volatile with rapidly fluctuating prices, it is typically positively trending with quote unquote booms predicted by figures such as Bitcoin Market Data CEO. And approximately 24 Zcash coins can be had for 1 Bitcoin, making it much more obtainable. Zcash has also made a couple of optimizations for their platform that make it preferred to Bitcoin, such as an increased emphasis on privacy that can't be debunked by addresses, increased block size limits for processing blockchains, and a decreased average block time, 2.5 minutes down from 10 minutes.
Cryptocurrencies typically record all transactions, including wallet addresses, timestamps, and amounts. This is known as the public ledger. This allows for the potential to trace transactions. Anonymity is not guaranteed for this reason. Zcash is a decentralized and open source cryptocurrency that allows privacy and selective transparency of transactions. Zcash payments are published on a public blockchain, but the sender, recipient, and amount of a transaction remain private. Zcash is based on peer-reviewed cryptographic research and built by a security-specialized engineering team on an open-source platform based on Bitcoin Core's battle-tested codebase. Our improvement over Bitcoin is the addition of privacy. Zcash uses advanced cryptographic techniques, namely zero-knowledge proofs, to guarantee the validity of transactions without revealing additional information about them.
Zcash is the first widespread application of ZK snarks, a novel form of zero-knowledge cryptography. The strong privacy guarantee of Zcash is derived from the fact that shielded transactions in Zcash can be fully encrypted on the blockchain, yet still be verified as valid under the network's consensus rules by using the ZK snark proofs. The acronym ZK snarks stands for Zero Knowledge Succinct Non-Interactive Argument of Knowledge and refers to a proof construction where one party, the prover, to prove to another, the verifier, that a statement is true without revealing any information beyond the validity of the statement itself. For example, given the hash of a random number, the prover can convince the verifier that there indeed exists a number with this hash value without revealing what it is. In order to have zero-knowledge privacy in Zcash, the function determining the validity of a transaction according to the network's consensus rules must return the answer of whether the transaction is valid or not without revealing any information it performed the calculations on. This is done by encoding some of the network consensus rules in zk-SNARKs. At a high level, zk-SNARKs works by first turning what you want to prove into an equivalent form of knowledge to a solution into some algebraic equations. Looking at such a circuit, we can think of the input values A, B, C as traveling left to right on the wires towards the output wire. Our next step is to build what is called a rank 1 constraint system, or R1CS, to check that the values are traveling correctly. In this example, R1CS will confirm, for instance, that the value coming out of the multiplication gate where B and C went is in fact B times C. With zk-SNARKs, sophisticated mathematical techniques such as homomorphic encryption and pairings of elliptic curves are used to evaluate polynomials blindly. In Bitcoin, transactions are validated by linking the sender address, receiver address, and input and output values on the public blockchain. Zcash uses zk-SNARKs to prove that the conditions for a valid transaction have been satisfied without revealing any crucial information about the addresses or values involved. The sender of a shielded transaction constructs a proof to show with high probability that the input value sums to the output values for each shielded transfer. The sender proves that they have the private spending keys of the input notes, giving them the authority to spend. The private spending keys of the input notes are cryptologically linked to a signature over the whole transaction in such a way that the transaction cannot be modified by a party who do not know these private keys. Bitcoin tracks unspent transaction outputs, otherwise known as UTXO, to determine what transactions are spendable. In Zcash, the shielded equivalent of a UTXO is called a commitment, and spending a commitment involves revealing a nullifier. Zcash nodes keep lists of all commitments that have been created and all nullifiers that have been revealed. Commitments and nullifiers are stored as hashes to avoid disclosing any information about the commitments or which nullifiers relate to which commitments. For each new note created by a shielded payment, a commitment is published which consists of a hash of the address to which the note was sent, the amount being sent, a number row, which is unique to this note, later used to derive the nullifier, and a random nuance. When a shielded transaction is spent, the sender uses their spending key to publish a nullifier, which is the hash of the secret number row from existing commitment that has not been spent, and provides a zero-knowledge proof demonstrating that they're authorized to spend it. This hash must not already be in the set of nullifiers tracking spent transactions kept by every node in the blockchain. The zero-knowledge proof for a shielded transaction verifies, in addition to the conditions previously stated, that the following assertions are also true. For each input note, a revealed commitment exists, the nullifier and note commitments are computed correctly, and that it's feasible for the nullifier of an output note to collide with the nullifier of any other note.
A Bitcoin transaction requires 3 initial proofs. The first proof is that the coins have not been spent already. The second proof being that the sender has authority to transfer the coins. And the third proof is that the transaction inputs and outputs are equal. Zcash operates very similarly to this, in the sense that these 3 proofs must be met for a transaction to occur. However, it differs by Zcash using the zero-knowledge proofs that were mentioned beforehand. In this case, no information about the sender, recipient, or transaction is recorded. This can be seen in much greater detail from the previous slide outlining zk-SNARKs. Zcash allows for 2 types of addresses: Z-address transactions, which are fully private, and T-address transactions, which are transparent, like Bitcoin transactions. Say we have 2 users, user A and user B. User A would like to send a note to user B. We will call this note, note 1. User A must define a new note, note 2, using a random serial number. This note 2 will be privately sent to user B. User A must now nullify note 1 and send the nullifier to all nodes. A hash of note 2 will then be sent to all nodes. The nodes will check if the note that corresponds to the nullifier has been spent or not. Zero-knowledge proofs are then used to ensure that the note belongs to user A. This will be done by validating that the private key corresponds with the public key, which is tied as the owner of the note.
For zk-SNARKs to work, a set of phases is required where Zcash parameters are generated. The setup phase is a lot similar to the setup phase of a public key crypto system, but it has a catch. As in the public key crypto system, a private key public key pair is generated, but then the private key in this case is destroyed. It's essential for the integrity of the system that after the setup phase, nobody possesses the private key. The public key corresponds to the required Zcash parameters. The private key corresponds to what has been called toxic waste by the Zcash website, and possessing it enables counterfeiting new coins. While someone could counterfeit new coins, it actually doesn't enable violating the privacy of other users' transactions. To reduce the counterfeiting risk, Zcash has designed a multiplayer protocol where the public key will be generated. The protocol has the property that private key now corresponds to the concatenation of all participants' secret randomness. Thus, the private key will only be destroyed unless all of the participants are dishonest or compromised. You can see here an image taken on October 15th, 2017, of the rise and fall of Zcash prices and market cap. About 1 year ago, in November 2016, a single Zcash coin was worth $4,293. As of today, a single Zcash coin is worth about $233. Over the past year, Zcash has typically remained from $1 to $200, but has seen a steady increase in market cap. The market cap was initially $574,000 and is now $578 million. Comparatively, it's a lot smaller than Bitcoin, which has $91 billion market cap, but the steady increase is a good thing.
The end.